Collections are a new way for apps to appear on timeline that helps people express what's important to them. Posts and life events now appear on the right side of timeline, and other things people care about appear on the left, like music, movies, TV, books, and fitness activity. We're making content from apps more prominent by giving them sections on the left column of timeline and the About tab. From timeline, people can manually add things to their new books, music, movies, TV, and fitness sections. If someone is already actively using an app to share this type of content, they have the option to include it in its respective section. For example, I can choose to add my Spotify activity to my music section. People can also add an app as a standalone section on their timeline and About page, comprising one or more collections. Previously, only top-ranked Open Graph stories and aggregations would appear on timeline. Now, when people add an app to their timeline, content from that app will always appear in the same position until the user edits the order or visibility. For your app to appear as a section on timeline, people will need to install your app and then click the Add to Profile button on the App tab. To encourage people to add your app to timeline, you can link them to your Apps tab on their profile. Instructions for constructing this link can be found in the Collections Guide. If you are using common actions, for example, an Open Graph like, you will not need to configure collections. They will automatically appear in the Review Status section after you publish an action. For developers that can't use common actions, we've created a simpler, more intuitive flow for creating custom collections and previewing how stories will look in Newsfeed. In the app dashboard, navigate to the Open Graph section. You'll see that a new subsection for collections is there. Click Create New Collection. The pop-up that appears will let you choose to create collections based on your existing Open Graph actions. This app has a custom action for when people cook recipes. Now, using this tool, I can easily create a collection called Recently Cooked that will show what kinds of food people have been cooking using the app. Click Create. Once you've created your collection, you configure the collection layout. Collections can appear as lists, in a gallery view, or as maps if the objects they correspond to contain location data. Choose the layout that makes most sense for your collection. For text-heavy items, like questions on Quora, list views are a great choice. For content that's very visual, galleries like Instagram's work best. For apps like Foursquare, where items are location-based, map collections are a compelling display of the places people have gone with your app. After you create collections, you will need to submit them for review so we can ensure they meet our quality guidelines. We are beginning to roll out these improvements to timeline today. As people get access to it, they will no longer see aggregations. If your app uses common actions, you do not need to do any additional work to set up a collection. Apps that rely on custom actions should create collections using the easy new tool and start encouraging people to add your app to their timelines. As apps become an increasingly important part of people's identities, we're excited to create a more organized and consistent way for apps to live on timeline.